Hello, welcome back to the Rule Book Room, your casual corner for unpacking heavy legal cases with a hot cup of chai in hand. Today's episode is packed with drama, law, and letters. Yes, actual handwritten letters. As we explore one of India's landmark matrimonial law cases, Dastane versus Dastane, decided by the Supreme Court in 1975. Now, don't worry, we are not here to drown you in legal maxims or footnotes. This is a story of marriage, ego, reputation, and ultimately the law's evolving understanding of cruelty. What was this case about? Dr. Narayan Ganesh Dastane, a man of high academic standing with a PhD from Australia under the Colombo Plan, filed a petition under the Hindu Marriage Act of 1955. His prayers before the trial court were threefold. 1. Annulment under Section 12, subsection 1, Clause C, on grounds that his consent to the marriage was obtained by fraud. 2. Divorce under Section 13, subsection 1, Clause 3, claiming the wife was incurably of unsound mind. 3. Judicial separation under Section 10, subsection 1, Clause B, alleging that wife had treated him with such cruelty that it was no longer possible to live with her. Before we proceed, I would like you to notice that this judgment comes prior to the amendment of 1976. So keep a note of that. Ultimately, only the ground of cruelty for judicial separation reached the Supreme Court. So let's pour all our attention there. The high achievers who fell apart. This wasn't a case of economic stress or rural misunderstanding. Both spouses were well educated, cultured, and had respectable jobs. Dr. Dastane was an agricultural scientist. Mrs. Dastane held a master's degree in social work and worked in the Ministry of Commerce and Industry. But remember, cruelty doesn't discriminate by class, degree, or postcode. This wasn't about illiteracy or backward customs. This was about two bright, articulate people whose marriage turned bitter and dangerous. The letters, when words become weapons. Here's what makes this case unique: the paper trail. The couple and their relatives wrote dozens of letters, not WhatsApp texts, not emails, full fledged, passionately worded, often venomous letters. These letters weren't just about petty fights, they were deeply insulting, sometimes disturbing. Let's look at a few examples. Mrs. Dastane called her husband a monster in a human body. She told him in front of his student, "You're not a man at all." She threatened to pour kerosene on herself and set the house on fire. She beat their children, including once when a child had a 104-degree Fahrenheit fever. She tore her Mangalsuit multiple times in a dramatic display of defiance. She called her mother in law boorish and mocked the religious rituals of the Dastane family. She even told her husband that his father's law license had been forfeited, publicly humiliating the family. She sent letters to his office and government department making wild accusations, thereby tarnishing his reputation professionally. Now, it wasn't just what she said, it was when and how often. The pattern of verbal abuse, threats, and humiliation made it clear that it wasn't just a one off bad phase. What is cruelty in law? Under Section 10, subsection 1, Clause B of the Hindu Marriage Act, cruelty is defined in terms of whether the spouse has caused a reasonable apprehension in petitioner's mind that it would be harmful or injurious to continue living together. This doesn't need to be physical violence. It could be emotional torture, public humiliation, constant nagging, insults, or false accusation, all of which, when repeated, build a strong case for cruelty. And here's where the Supreme Court gave us an iconic explanation. It said, we are not dealing with ideal husbands or wives here. We are dealing with real people in real marriages who may lose their temper, overreact, or sulk. The court has to examine not how an average person might react, but how these particular spouses were affected. So forget the ideal couple test. The law asks, would this behavior make it harmful for this particular person to live with their spouse? The standard of proof, how much evidence is enough? This part's for all the law nerds. How do you prove cruelty? The High Court messed up by saying that petitioner must prove cruelty beyond reasonable doubt, a standard used in criminal law. The Supreme Court corrected it. Cruelty is a civil matter, and the correct standard is preponderance of probabilities. Here's the difference. Beyond reasonable doubt is very strict, used when somebody's liberty is at stake. Preponderance of probability, on other hand, is more likely than not, used in civil disputes like divorce. So, no, Dr. Dastani need not prove cruelty like a murder case. He just had to show that it was more probable than not that his wife's conduct made cohabitation intolerable. The wife's defense, self protection or overreaction. Mrs. Dastane claimed she was acting in self defense, that her husband was excessively rigid and perfectionist, that he micromanaged everything from how she should hold the milk vessel to how she should write letters. One time, he even gave her a written list titled Instructions to My Wife, which included rules like don't talk too much and don't serve food in brass vessels. That's not a great husband behavior. But the court said even if he was rigid, the response of the wife was grossly excessive. The cruelty wasn't a single outburst, it was a pattern of aggression, humiliation, and threats. But didn't he forgive her? What about condonation? Good question. The concept of condonation under Section 23, subsection 1, clause B of the Act means forgiving a matrimonial offense and restoring the spouse to their original status. Now, here's where it gets interesting. The couple had their third child after many of these incidents. They even lived together for a while. The court said that's condonation. But condonation is conditional. If the spouse repeats the cruelty or commits another offense, the forgiveness is revoked. But the Supreme Court held that while there was cruelty, there was no new act of comparable gravity that would revive the earlier cruelty after condemnation. What did the Supreme Court ultimately hold? In its 1975 judgment, the Supreme Court held that Mrs. Dastani's conduct amounted to legal cruelty. That Dr. Dastane had initially condoned her conduct by cohabiting, and that there was no fresh act grave enough to revive the right to judicial separation. That the standard of proof was preponderance of probability, not beyond reasonable doubt. That the High Court was wrong in giving the wife the benefit of doubt without clear supporting evidence. So, although cruelty was proven, the Supreme Court denied judicial separation because the cruelty had been condoned and no fresh act was found grave enough to revive it. Final takeaways for law students? Let's wrap this up with some key takeaways. Cruelty isn't about bruises, it's about unbearable emotional and psychological harm. The standard of proof in civil matrimonial disputes is preponderance of probabilities. Condonation is not a blanket pardon, it's conditional on no repeat offense. Judicial separation is a legal remedy, but only if the offense is ongoing or revived. And finally, even high achievers, educated spouses, can be deeply incompatible, hurtful, or cruel. Law doesn't stereotype. That brings us to the end of this episode on Dastane versus Dastane, a case that blended courtroom drama, human vulnerability, and strong judicial guidance. If you enjoyed this breakdown, hit follow, share it with your batchmates, and revisit this judgment when you get a chance. Until next time, stay curious, stay grounded, and remember, law becomes meaningful when it connects with lived experience. You've been listening to the Rulebook Room with Harp. Bye for now.